Today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Budapest here in the Carpathian Basin, the capital of Hungary. I hope everybody is having a good and healthy weekend so far. Hi Khyber, hi Shaik, hi Sherkan, Amar Jat, Nikhil. Nice to see many of our students in the class. Hi Turk, good to see our members as well. Students, in this class we are focusing on the reading section. It's taken from our academic materials. These are new exams that we are developing. So they're brand new reading passages for everyone, including myself. So it's exciting to learn new information using English. Of course, these materials are coming from our websites. So for academic IELTS, check us out at aehelp.com. And for the general version of the exam, check us out at gieltshelp.com. On both of our websites, we have lots and lots of materials to help you increase your band scores, improve your English and your communication. And well, as you see right now, we're always developing and adding new materials. Hi Rashika, hi Hassan. Hi, Boomi, and hi, Ashraf. Nice to see more of our members hopping in on the class. Our websites look like this. This is the academic here with the blue background. Click that big red button to join the premium package. Here, I'll give you a code so you can get a discount. R4TYJ will get you a 20% discount on that premium package. So go ahead and use that. And for the general IELTS, you can use the same code. Green background, click that big red button to join us at gieltshelp.com. If you have questions, you can always send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. I will gladly answer any inquiries you may have. If you'd like to get our exams in hard copy, you can do that. You can order our books from Amazon. Very nice covers and nice print. And you can search for A-Help's Academic IELTS and G-Help's General IELTS. And they're definitely a lot cheaper than the Cambridge books if you count it per exam cost. And the exams are identical in difficulty. So it's a cheaper way to get paper versions of the exam than with the Cambridge. All right, students. So right now, reading, July 4th. Anybody know why July 4th is a big day in North America? Veerpal, I have no idea why you can't send email. That's got to be on your end because we get lots of emails every day. Okay. So, yeah, there we go. Shaik is like, yeah, it's Independence Day in the U.S. and culturally the U.S. is having some challenging times these days, so I hope that they're going to have a nice and eventful and joyful, happy, peaceful Independence Day over there in the U.S. So anybody in the U.S. right now, I hope you're having a positive time. Yeah, it's the day of independence when the U.S. became a sovereign nation separate from the British Empire. Absolutely. Anybody know the year, by the way? Just kind of throwing it out there. Anybody know what year the Day of Independence was celebrated first? So when that event took place? It was a while ago now. All right. So let's get into our reading. You'll notice that it's another topic that's quite pertinent to our current situation. Sherkan says 1856. No. It was longer. It was way back. Yeah, 1776. 1776. Some of you are saying 1778, but I believe it was 1776 if I know my American history. Anyhow, let's get into today's reading. Here we go, students. Let's get into it. Maybe I'll make it a little bit bigger. I just want to maximize it for those of you using mobile phones, so that you can see this. All right, here we go. First things first, let's read the title. The Role of the World Health Organization in a Pandemic. All right. I'm it. I'm one step ahead of you. I just did zoom. You know what? Let's see if I can zoom a bit more. Let me really get the maximum size here on the feedback screen. There we go. Okay. So this might be quite interesting for some of you since we just went through this, and of course our new exams are reflecting our historical context as well. So first things first, always read the role of the World Health Organization in a pandemic. So clearly here we want to visualize. Yeah, Hassan's like, this topic is fresh. Indeed it is, Hassan. And we want to do some critical thinking, predicting. So of course here, before you start reading, you should ask yourself mentally in your head the question, what is the role of the WHO during a pandemic? And I'm guessing that many of us have an idea right now, since it's a very current type of situation. So what is the role of the WHO during a pandemic? So Kyber says to share awareness to the world. Okay, to share awareness to the world about the pathogen, right? So whatever's attacking us. And I'm sure many of you were checking the statistics, right? Like what were the statistics? How many people were sick? How many people were dying? So share statistics. How quickly it's spreading, right? Beckjohn says helping countries to fight the disease. So yeah, so providing medical assistance to combat the disease. Yeah, that's what Beckjohn says. Yeah, I agree. Some of you are saying implementing a lockdown, yeah, or other measures. So implementing certain measures like a lockdown to counteract the pandemic. Yeah. It's good to think about all of these because likely you're going to be reading about it. Diva says some medical support. Yeah. Providing doctors and medical support. Yeah, I'm sure that's part of it. Okay, sure, good. All right. So some good thoughts there. Let's go look at the questions. So we're getting some good ideas here. Role of the World Health Organization. And now we look at the questions, see what's going on. Maybe we can get a bit more information to help us understand this essay before we begin to read. So here it says, choose one word only from the passage for each answer. Write your answers in boxes 27 to 33 on your answer sheet, and this is a complete the summary below. So all of this information will be found in the passage somewhere. It's a paraphrase of the passage, so it's giving us another way to understand the passage. So it's really good to read this before the passage. Let's do that. Introduction and background to the World Health Organization's role in a pandemic. Read with me. Students, let's read aloud. Read with me. The World Health Organization is in charge of global public health. In the case of a pandemic, it gives countries expert analysis and something. Pandemics are different from epidemics. While epidemics are geographically isolated, pandemics often cross something borders. While HIV and AIDS was considered a pandemic, something was not, since it was geographically isolated. Okay, and definitely read aloud here as well. And then we have some more information. So it's 2 sections here to this. Notice that. So post-peak actions of the WHO. Once the pandemic's severity has peaked, the WHO is focused on health impacts as well as something impacts. Additionally, the organization prepares for the virus's possible second something. Notably, health can be severely affected by a pandemic, as measures like social distancing and self-isolation can degrade one's psychological well-being. Some of the other side effects of a successful pandemic response can be mass unemployment, increased in the frequency of, and homelessness. So we're going to get some really useful information for us here, not just for IELTS, but our current context. That was kind of our goal with this as well. So here we go, questions 34 to 40. Match the following phases with facts about them from the passage. Write the correct letter A to D in boxes 34 to 40 on your answer sheet. Okay, always read the instructions. You may use any letter more than once. So here we have some phases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So phase means some kind of a stage or some kind of a situation. Okay. All right. So let's read these. Obviously, again, all of this will be somewhere in the passage. Okay. So human-to-human transfer is confirmed in 2 countries within the same WHO region. The goal is to limit the virus to a small geographical area. Small groups of infected persons are confirmed. A virus exists in more than one WHO region. Confirmation within a laboratory that the virus has infected a human being. Transfer between people is established. A report of infection in humans has been made. All right, so clearly when we read this question here, we realize that we're going to read some information about the different categories or stages, phases in the development of a pandemic. So we're keeping that in mind. What could be the first stage? What could be the second stage? Okay. All right. So next step is reading. And I'm going to really focus on some nice fluency today so we can really get through this. And again, students, read with me and read aloud, okay? So I'm not just presenting this to you. If you want to maximize your English learning, and why not, you should, then you should focus, because I can see there's a little bit of chatter going on as well. So focus, read with me, focus on understanding and visualizing, okay? That's what's important here. All right, so here we go. Everybody, let's start off here. Let's read this whole passage together. And here you might have some really useful information that could be valuable in your life today. So really pay attention. It's not just for IELTS, but for your own safety or for what you might expect in the coming weeks and months in regard to the COVID pandemic. Okay? You'd sure feel silly if you missed a key piece of information that saved your life or somebody's life because you were chit-chatting about something else, right? Okay, here we go. So let's read. The World Health Organization, WHO, is the United Nations agency responsible for international public health. Its main goal is that all people achieve the highest possible level of health. Founded in 1948 and headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland, the WHO employs 7,000 people in 150 countries in order to achieve its global health goals. Among the WHO's many responsibilities is in providing expertise and guidance in the case of a global viral pandemic. Okay, so what is this paragraph about? It's about the World Health Organization, what it's made up of, the 7,000 people in different countries, and its goals to provide expertise and guidance. All right, let's keep going. So read aloud, read with me. A pandemic is defined as an epidemic of a disease or illness caused by a virus occurring worldwide, or over a very wide area, crossing international boundaries and usually affecting a large number of people. For example, HIV/AIDS is considered a pandemic, while the outbreak of Ebola in West Africa from 2013 to 16 was not considered a pandemic because it was geographically isolated. Instead, the Ebola outbreak was considered an epidemic. While the WHO has a role to play in both epidemics and pandemics, its pandemic response is much more complex, as multiple stakeholders, cultures, nations, and interests must be taken into account when managing the outbreak. This paragraph explains the difference between pandemic, epidemic. It gives the example of HIV around the world versus the Ebola outbreak in West Africa. Okay, so now we know that the COVID is clearly a pandemic because it's not localized. All right, here we go. The WHO designates 6 stages of a pandemic. All right, let's see what these are. Again, really try to visualize this. So phase 1, a virus circulating, often in animals, has been reported to cause infection in humans. Okay, so animal to human. So again, be visual. So here you should see maybe like a little pig. Okay. All right. And the virus is transmitted to the human. Okay. Again, try to be very visual. I'm probably not going to be smiling for too long, but maybe they're not feeling the symptoms yet. So animal to human, okay, phase 1. Phase 2, there is laboratory confirmation of the human infection reported in phase 1. So this here has just happened, but we don't know for sure yet. Here, the doctor, and I don't know why, maybe thinking doctors wear glasses, but looking like a doctor, okay? The doctor says, yep, thumbs up, humans are infected, okay? Oh, there, thumbs up, humans are infected, okay? So that's phase 2. So visualize, okay? Here, clearly COVID would help you because the report goes that first what happened is the bat transmitted the disease to humans, and then it was confirmed in a laboratory that people are getting sick. Okay. Phase 3, there are small clusters of infection, but these are of a low number, and widespread community infection is not present. So here we would probably think, like in Wuhan, the first few people who are getting sick, the first 20 people. Okay. All right, phase 4. Whenever you can connect information in the reading passage to your own knowledge, like the COVID, definitely do that. That will help you to remember the information. Okay. Human-to-human transfer is confirmed, and there are widespread community-level outbreaks. So this is where Wuhan is now infected. It's spreading to other cities in China. Okay. Phase 5, the virus attains a phase 4 level in at least 2 countries in the same WHO region. For example, the African region. So at this point, we're realizing that this is an epidemic now, right? So you have several countries in West Africa where a lot of people are getting sick. Okay. Phase 6. The virus attains a phase 5 level in at least 1 other country in a different, okay, WHO region. Always pay attention to these contrasts, right? For example, a virus originating in the African region and spreading to the Southeast Asian region, okay? So, or in the case of COVID, we now have a virus moving from China to Italy. Right? Okay. All right. So here we have the 6 phases. Hopefully you're able to keep a kind of mental catalog of the disease spreading from the animal to human, confirmed, and then human to human, and then larger communities, and eventually into different countries or different continents. All right, let's keep reading. After phase 6, there is a post-peak period when the virus begins to decline. The risk of a possible new wave or recurrence of the virus, and post-pandemic period where normalcy returns. So this is what we're starting to now experience with the COVID outbreak, right? Is after phase 6. There are recommended actions associated with each of the 6 phases and the after periods. These actions are categorized into 5 components: planning and coordination, situation monitoring and assessment, reducing the spread of the disease, continuity of healthcare provision, and communication. So I believe that's what we're at right now. Okay, let's keep reading here. So in phases 1 to 3, the emphasis is on planning and coordination, as well as situation monitoring and assessment. The WHO's main goal at this point is to strengthen pandemic preparedness at the regional, national, and subnational levels, and to ensure each jurisdiction has the capacity to respond to the pandemic that may be affecting it soon. In phase 4, so here you can imagine the wearing of masks, having enough hand sanitizer for the COVID, and then eventually the ventilators, right? That was the big problem, is a lot of regions and hospitals didn't have the ventilators to keep people alive. In phase 4, the WHO's goal is to contain the virus within a limited area and prevent its spread from this area. Even if the virus cannot be contained, containment efforts can buy valuable time to develop and implement potential medical interventions such as vaccines. Probably a lot of you right now are going, yeah, of course, that was the lockdown. So that's what the WHO was doing there. They were telling countries, hey, you got to lock down. We got to stop the spread. In phases 5 and 6, the WHO's emphasis shifts from preparedness to a global level response. One of the key events in a pandemic is its designation as a global pandemic, which is done at the direction of the Director General of the WHO. While done in consultation with relevant organizations, institutions, and nations, ultimately it is the decision of the WHO and its Director General that carries the most weight. Such a designation carries immense weight, both from a public health perspective and from a social perspective. For example, for many people, the WHO's declaration of COVID-19 as a global pandemic on 11th March 2020 was a wake-up call that the virus was incredibly serious and that measures would be put into place by national and regional health authorities in accordance with the WHO pandemic response directives. Okay. Actions taken by the WHO in the post-peak period are focused on the health and social impact of the pandemic and those people and nations affected, as well as preparation for a possible second wave of the virus. In the post-pandemic period, WHO efforts aim to restore normal functions while addressing the midterm and long-term impacts of the pandemic. For example, measures such as self-isolation and social distancing carry immense mental health side effects, while measures such as widespread business closures carry enormous side effects such as mass unemployment. Potential crime rate increases, homelessness, and other unknown effects. The World Health Organization's emphasis is on prevention of a global pandemic, but it also has a key role in both the high-stakes, later phases of a pandemic and the after stages. People are often quick to critique the WHO for perceived inaction or delayed action, but the WHO's protocols developed over decades of pandemic response have proven effective in mitigating destructive effects of global viruses. All right. So there you go. There's a bit about the WHO and the role that the WHO has in a pandemic. So hopefully now that you read this, it's interesting for the IELTS topic, and it's interesting also in the sense of the standard technical steps that are involved in the WHO response system. All right, let's see if we can answer some of the questions now in the summary. So here we go. One word only from the passage for each answer. This is a summary completion. Summary completion is in the order of the passage usually. So whatever you see earlier in the summary completion should be earlier in the passage as well. Okay. Here we go. Let's do this together. Let's see how well you remember what you read. So this is the introduction and background to the World Health Organization's role in a pandemic. So we know this is coming from the beginning. Okay. The World Health Organization is in charge of global public health. In the case of a pandemic, it gives countries expert analysis and what? Does anybody remember this one without necessarily searching? It was very obvious here because it was the thesis. Yeah, Amanjad says guidance. Charlie Sen says guidance. Very good. So notice, students, how some of your classmates know the answer without searching, and that's because they're doing good reading, paying attention. Fantastic. Okay, and this is a brand new reading passage, so nobody has seen this anywhere yet. This is a brand new IELTS reading passage. So guidance, yeah, and guidance. Okay, again, it's in the introduction, it's in the thesis. You definitely should remember the thesis, right? So responsibility is in providing expertise and guidance in the case of a global viral pandemic. Very good, students. Many of you got that. Nice job. All right, paying attention and learning and improving your mind. That's fantastic. Okay. So here we go. Let's keep going. Pandemics are different from epidemics. While epidemics are geographically isolated, pandemics often cross something borders. Again, if you use your logic and you're thinking clearly, you should be able to get this without searching. Viewers, students who get band 7 or more can answer a lot of questions without searching. And international is correct. Very nice job. So international, right? Again, not all IELTS questions you need to search for the answers. So Vatsal, Katheria, yeah, international, not national, international borders, right? The borders that are between nations. Very nice. Okay. While HIV and AIDS was considered a pandemic, something was not, since it was geographically isolated. I think even 29 here, if everybody's paying attention, you should get this. Nasif Abrar, very good. Nasif Abrar says that's Ebola. Now that's spelt with a B, not a P. Okay. So, and you can do this. Okay. So you can write all capital letters. Students, if you write all capital letters for one answer, make sure you do the same. So, guidance. Okay. So do it for all of them. All right. Don't switch it up because that looks weird. You'll get it right, but it just looks weird. So Ebola is fine. Okay. And you could do it like that as well. Ebola. Yeah. Okay, good. If you don't know the spelling, then you can search for it. But if you know the word, it'll be easy to find. Okay? All right. So let's go on to the next question. Here we go. Question number 30. So now we're shifting a little bit. It says post-peak action of the WHO. really pay attention to this. Notice how in this part of the summary it says introduction and background. So that means we're probably looking at the first 1 or 2 paragraph. For the next one, though, we move all the way near the end of the reading here. Okay. All right. So here we go. Post-peak. So post-peak means after it reaches the top. So kind of where we are with the COVID right now. So once the pandemic's severity has peaked, the WHO is focused on health impacts as well as something impacts. Anybody know what the other impacts are? Health impacts as well as, yeah, very good, students. Social impacts, social impacts. Again, if you're visualizing there, right? So it said many people are affected mentally for these lockdowns or economically, right? Those are the social impacts. Very good. Again, you shouldn't have to search for all of these answers if you're reading carefully. Additionally, the organization prepares for the virus's possible second what? What do we call that? Abdi Samad says the second wave. Nasif agrees. Bekjan agrees as well. Yeah, we call that a wave. Wave, okay? Second wave, all right? Now here, again, so, okay, let's say you don't know that this is the collocation. Second wave means the second coming or the second round, okay? If you don't know if it's round or wave or situation or period, then you can go back. They do, so the IELTS does want the exact word, so they don't want second round, they want second wave. And if you don't know that word, that's when you can go back, and because you're paying attention and you know that it's coming near the end here, right? So after phase 6, okay, there's a post-peak period when the virus begins to decline. The risk of a possible new wave. There's the word, wave. Okay, so wave is the correct word. Use that one. Right? Because we know that this information came after the 6 phases. Okay. So, notably, something health can be severely affected by a pandemic, as measures like social distancing and self-isolation can degrade one's psychological well-being. In this kind of sentence, you actually have the answer in the sentence if you're really paying attention. Okay? Bhumi says mental, and English Geek agrees. Hadi Watar, all agree, and you're all right. Mental health. Yeah, definitely. I agree. So, mental health can be affected, right? Very good. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Some of the other side effects of a successful pandemic response can be mass unemployment, increased in the frequency of something, and homelessness. So mass unemployment increased in the increased in the frequency of crime. Very good. Crime, yeah. Right? So people don't have jobs. People are hungry. What do? They start stealing, looting, and other types of crime, right? So unemployment increases, crime and homelessness. Yeah, very good. Again, if you're visualizing, you should have gotten this one no problem. Okay, good job. Well done, students. Nice reading. I think a lot of you who are coming to these classes regularly, you're really improving your active reading skills. So not just your reading skills, but your active reading skills. That's great to see. Okay, so here we have match the following phases with facts about them from the passage. Write the correct letter A to D on your answer sheet. You may use any letter more than once. And here, if some of you are like, well, this passage is, I'm finding it kind of easy. There's a couple reasons why that might be. Number one, it's very current information that we're all experiencing with COVID. And number two, It's very visual, so it's very clear for us. Okay, so phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you have a passage like this, that's fantastic because that lets you save time for your other passages and gives you confidence. Okay, so don't think about it, just move through it. Okay. Number 34, human-to-human transfer is confirmed in 2 countries within the same WHO region. What is that? Phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6? A, B, C, D, E, or F? So some of you are saying maybe 4, maybe 5. Now here, again, some of you are thinking, well, I would just keep checking here the phases and then, but if you can be fast, phase 6, I think is the last one where it's a global pandemic, right? If I'm not mistaken. And the one that's before that is a regional. So I would go E on this one. This is 5. So that's E, okay? Because there's only one phase after this. Within the same HO region is followed by different WHO regions. And different WHO regions would be 6, right? This is global pandemic. Different regions. So if you were careful with your visualization, you should have seen that. Okay. And I can check just to make sure, but I'm confident. In the real IELTS, I wouldn't go back on this one. I would confidently choose that. So the virus attains a phase 4 level in at least 2 countries in the same WHO region. So there you go. So phase 5, E is correct. Okay. Hopefully you don't have to scan or flip pages for all of these. Okay. So 34, E. 35, the goal is to limit the virus to a small geographical area. Okay. So which one is that? A, B, C, D, or E? Where are we limiting it to a small geographical area? Okay, A is animal to human. B is doctor confirms human. C, there's a few people in an area. D is limiting it to an area. That's what I think. So I would actually go 35D here. Small geographical area means several people, right? So this would be like Wuhan. People in Wuhan are infected, okay? So I would go D on that one. Small groups of infected persons are confirmed. Which one would that be? The next one, number 36. 36 would be, of course, if you don't know, check, but if you can, try to go through this quickly. Yeah, C, right? So groups of infected persons. Next one, small geographical area, right? So C, D, E. It's kind of like a flipped order here, right? Okay. Okay. Next one. Let's look at the last ones. I think you can keep those letters in mind. So a virus exists in more than one WHO region. Number 37. Yeah, that's right. Okay. It's F. There's a bit of paraphrasing here. More than one here is different, right? Different WHO regions. Okay, that's the final stage. That's COVID. That's your global pandemic, right? Confirmation within a laboratory that the virus has infected a human being. Number 38, confirmation within a laboratory that the virus has infected a human being. Which one is that? 38. Yeah, B, right? That's where the doctor, remember the glasses? The doctor says, oh, we've got an infection here. That happened in China. This is By the way, this is where COVID was really debated, right? Because that Chinese doctor said, hey, guys, this is happening. So this phase B happened, but nobody listened. That was the problem with the COVID. Nobody listened to that Chinese doctor who said, guys, this is happening. There's people to people. And they said, oh, shut up. We don't want to hear what you're... And then, whoops, it is happening. Okay, so 39. It's my own 2 bits there. 39. Transfer between people is established. So we know that it's going from human to human. 39. What is that? Transfer between people is established. I would say that that's either going to be C or D. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to check that one. Okay, that was a little bit of detail there. Let's check it, but I would think, yeah. So here I see it. Human-to-human transfer is confirmed, and there's a widespread community-level outbreak. So number 4, right? Phase 4, human-to-human. Because here, we don't know yet if it's just moving from animals to humans, right? So we don't know yet if it's like the bird flu or mad cow disease, where it wasn't human to human, but it was eating beef or eating poultry that was causing it. But here in number 4, and this is quite interesting, students, if you think about it, that it's not until phase 4 where we're actually clear that the virus is moving from a human to another human and not simply in our food or traveling through the air, right? It's quite interesting. You'd think that we'd have that idea earlier, but we don't really have the idea yet, only here in 4. And maybe that's why the Chinese government was apprehensive to confirm the doctor's suggestions. Okay, so D it is. Okay, transfer between people is established. If you're not sure, definitely check. Okay, a report of infection in humans has been made. Last one, number 40. A report of infections in human has been made. Which one do you think that is for number 40? Sheik. Yashoya. You get a thumbs up. You're the first one to get it right. Bekchun, good job. It's the first one, right? It's where the animal infects the human, and we see that. So there's a sick human. Definitely got sick somehow. We don't know how. We don't know from where. But human is sick. That's step 1A. Okay? All right, cool. So for this kind of passage, you don't really have to do a lot of... going back to the passage now, one really important point here, students, I really want to emphasize this, is some IELTS passages, and usually 1 from 3, keep this in mind, is about this level of difficulty. But the reason why students find it more difficult is because instead of reading the passage, they right away try to search for the answers. That would be silly with this passage. It makes a lot more sense with this passage to read the information and then quickly and easily answer most of these questions. If you have a strategy where you're just skimming and searching and scanning for answers, you will actually find this passage much harder or more difficult than you should. Does that make sense? So be careful with that, okay? So sometimes skimming and scanning is a really bad strategy, especially when the passage is kind of quote-unquote easy, okay? So be careful. Some passages are much easier to read and then answer questions instead of going to the questions and then searching for the answers with skimming and scanning like a mad student, okay? Or a student gone mad. Okay, don't be the student gone mad, all right? So that's important. All right. Okay, everyone, if you like this video and you'd like to see more videos like this in HD, of course, this video's not HD because it's a low latency live stream, but if you'd like to see HD videos, more on different strategies, definitely check out our premium package at aehelp.com. Use the code R4TYJ to get that 20% discount. For general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. This was one of our most recent passages still in development for our 4 brand new exams. We'll have 10 full exams at the end of this year. We have 6 available for you right now. That's it for today. I will be back on Wednesday with more live IELTS classes. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, everyone. You're very welcome for this. Much love to all of you. I'm Adrian signing out from beautiful sunny Budapest. Bye for now.